The primary players are in the ring, and we are mere moments away, ladies and gentlemen, from the inaugural Knockout Night at the Knee Boxing Series, live from downtown Las Vegas. Soon, it will be Slobber Knocker time on the CBS Sports Network. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live in beautiful downtown Las Vegas, Nevada, in the shadow of the D Hotel and Casino at the downtown Las Vegas Event Center. And what a night it's going to be, folks. We have 6 20-something fighters. And ladies and gentlemen, 6 20-something fighters here tonight, and they got something to prove. They're hungry. They want to win. They want to move up the ladder. And Kevin Kelly, our main event is very, very interesting.
Well, you got two men fighting a fight where styles make matchups, okay? There's a height differential, okay? 5'11" and 5'8", okay? The Dragon fighting the heat, okay? Now, you know a Dragon does have heat.
Correct.
So we're going to see exactly what happens in this fight.
2 highly skilled fighters with amazing records in our main event, a South African and a Canadian, ladies and gentlemen. And Sean, of course, what do you think about the young man from South Africa?
Well, he's a really talented fighter. He's a former WBO 147-pound champion. He said to us, "This is my coming out party for the United States." He's a big star in his native South Africa, a country that has produced numerous great boxers. Francois Botha, a childhood idol of his. He said, "I want to be an inspiration in South Africa, and also I want to be a hero to boxing fans in the United States."
He's also put a lot of pressure on himself by saying, "I have to win this fight tonight. Tonight I have to win. No questions asked."
Gotta win.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to be fighting a young man. The Canadian welterweight champion, Steve Cleggett, is a tough son of a gun.
Yeah, he's tough. He got peekaboo defense. He fights like this, peekaboo out of the style, so he's going to be very hard defensive fighter. Very hard to break down that guard.
And Sean, what do you think about our semi-main event? We've talked a lot about the main event here tonight, and it's going to be a dandy, no doubt about that. But our semi-main, folks, is a battle of the Roosters.
And JR, this is an example of really aggressive matchmaking. You have 10-2 Limberth Ponce versus 11-0 Nico Macias. This will truly be a crossroads fight for these really talented 24-year-olds.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go now to our ring announcer, the incredible Joe Martinez.
And fight fans, we are set to go 6 rounds of welterweight action. Making his way to the ring first. Fighting out of the black corner from Louisiana, here is Errol Sidney Jr.
Errol Sidney Jr. likes to be called the Spider. Kevin Kelly, not the Spider, a Spider. He's a Spider from New Orleans. He survived Katrina. Can he survive his opponent tonight from the Iron Man, the Iceman from Baltimore?
Well, you know what? Very interesting fight. You got a man that's a natural athlete. Actually played professional basketball.
Well, he played Division I college basketball at the University of Louisiana Monroe.
And gave up a professional basketball career to become a professional fighter. So that's pretty amazing. So that means he's athletic. That means one thing.
Errol Sidney Jr., 27 years old, enters 6-1-2 with 2 knockouts He didn't start boxing until the age of 23 because of that college basketball career. Made his pro debut 1 year later. He said, what I lack in boxing background, I make up in athleticism and coachability.
Let's go to Joe Martinez.
And his opponent tonight making his way to the ring, fighting out of the red corner, the undefeated Baltimore native, Malik Hawkins.
Malik Hawkins 6-0 with 5 finishes, ladies and gentlemen, in round 1. That is not a misstatement. 5 finishes in round 1 for the young man from Baltimore who comes from a very athletic family. His dad and his uncle are high-level MMA practitioners.
Malik Hawkins is a really interesting story. At 20 years old, wants to be very active. And again, 7 pro fights after tonight, trying to make it a perfect 7-0, looking for his 6th knockout at just 20 years old. He said, I want to be flashy without taking damage. Be a smart, aggressive fighter. He feels he can control with his jab, but first and foremost, he has a belief in his boxing defense.
And the young man from Baltimore says, I'm the Iceman, Kevin Kelly, not the nice man in the ring.
Well, he walks out with Roy Jones Jr. That's one of his biggest, the big fan of Roy Jones Jr. He's looking to emulate that style a little bit, show a little more punching power, a little boxing ability. There's some great defense today, and he has a formidable opponent in front of him. Let me tell you something. Errol the Spider is no joke.
No doubt about that, neither is Joe Martinez.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, live on CBS Sports Network from downtown Las Vegas Event Center, Las Vegas, Nevada. Fight fans, it is time for Knockout Night at the Dane. Brought to you by Roy Jones Boxing Promotions and the Dane. This bout scheduled for 6 rounds in the welterweight division. Your 3 judges scoring at ringside: Robert Hoyle, Patricia Morse-Jarman, and Glenn Trowbridge. When the action begins inside the ring, your referee, Jay Nady. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the black corner, wearing blue and neon, he weighed in officially 147 pounds. In 9 professional bouts, his record stands at 6 victories, 1 defeat, 2 draws with 2 wins by way of knockout from New Orleans, Louisiana. Here is Errol Spider Sidney Jr. And next his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red trunks trimmed in silver, he weighed in officially 146 pounds even. In 6 professional bouts, he stands perfect with 6 victories, no defeats, 5 wins by way of knockout from Baltimore, Maryland. Here is the undefeated Malik Iceman Hawkins.
Good luck, touch gloves now, and let's go to work. Thank you.
Indeed, let's go to work. We said there are 6 20-something-year-old fighters tonight on our program, our inaugural program. We thank you all for being with us. Those of the coast on the East Coast staying up late, you're going to like the fact that you are missing some sleep. We're going to bring some fights to you tonight. There's going to be some fighting in downtown Las Vegas tonight. You got a 20-year-old in Malik Hawkins, the Iceman, 27-year-old in Errol Sidney Jr.'s Spida.
What's nice about them, they're both tall and lanky. About the same height and reach advantage. There's no advantages there. So one guy's very athletic, the other guy's very skilled in boxing. So he changed his mind, Malik Hawkins. He was going down the wrong path, and boxing kind of saved his life.
Absolutely. If he had not gotten to boxing, he'd probably been in an institution at some point in time, perhaps right now.
Hawkins talked about wanting an aggressive start, and that's what he has. Exploding out of his corner, already trapping Errol Sidney Jr. into the corner and against the ropes, putting him on his back foot.
As Sean mentioned earlier, Errol Sidney Jr., 27 years old, one of these senior citizens of this night of fights. We got some young bucks here that they're going to show what they can do.
There are a lot of promising up-and-coming talent.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing you have right now. And with Malik, you see, like Malik, I says, you know, he see a little bit of Roy Jones' influence there, but Roy was in this aggressive. He's more of a boxer, more of a counter-puncher. Malik is not trying to do that. He's trying to go right after Errol Sidney.
Good 2 short uppercuts from Hawkins.
As you can see also, here's Errol Sidney, a southpaw, another southpaw on the card. There's a lot of southpaws on this card. So you'll see a lot of footwork. If you look at Errol Sidney's right foot, he's got to keep it on the outside of the left foot of Malik Hawkins.
Good counter left hand there, JR, from Sidney, but he is taking some big shots as Hawkins is walking him down here in round number 1.
Well, the Spider's got to leave his tights alone, his trumps. He's not.
He's distracted.
He is distracting him. He's taking his mind off his game here in the early going, which could be fatal.
The big thing about Sidney is he's got to throw a straight left hand. That can back up Malik. Malik is not paying any attention to anything that Errol Sidney's throwing.
Errol Sidney Jr., the Spider, is worked as a financial advisor.
But J.P. Morgan.
Yeah, very bright kid, very well-spoken.
It was a clever turn there from Sidney. Now trying to put Hawkins into the corner, trying to set the pace, but Hawkins with that straight right hand.
Well, that's the way you beat a southpaw. The southpaw rule against, if you're fighting a right against a southpaw, you got to throw straight right hands. And the way a lefty beats a southpaw is throw straight left hands. So you counter with a counter.
And Kevin, it's interesting how Hawkins describes himself, is that he wants to be flashy, he wants to be entertaining, dynamic, but not take a lot of punches. It is a very fine line to walk.
Well, if you're inspired by Roy Jones, you definitely want to be very defensive. That's the one key. The second key is you got to be very effective. So right now, like I said, they're pouring with them jabs back and forth, and nobody's really throwing a serious jab. And that's the major problem here.
Good short, sharp right hand.
That's the right hand that works against southpaws that he needs to throw.
And we'll be seeing more of that as the end of the first round has sounded. We're going to keep it right here during this between rounds. Interesting matchup. Both these kids are highly regarded. The boxing experts, which I will admit I am not one, but I am a fan of the sport.
It's a great place to be. I'll tell you one thing, I like you even more.
You might as well tell the truth, right?
Yeah, I love it.
You're the expert.
Well, I watched wrestling when I was growing up as a kid. Watch wrestling now, too.
Let's take a look at some of the action there, Sean.
As you take a look right here, you see the action. Both of them points here, straight right hand, which works against southpaws. And that's what Errol Sidney did. He got hit with the shot. The pouring is what's got to stop. Somebody's got to throw a jab instead of pouring each other. They're pouring the jabs, and that's what somebody's got to do, come over the top.
So what do you got in your scorecard?
I gave that last round to Malik Hawkins just on aggressiveness, ring generalship. I gave it to him 10-9.
I agree with you, champ, and I think it's the clean, effective striking by Malik Hawkins, 10-9.
And here we go. It's starting the second round. 2-6 here on the CBS Sports Network. Thanks again for being with us. Downtown Las Vegas, a beautiful night under the Nevada stars.
Errol Sidney's trying to load that left hand up, as you can see. He's pouring the jab, and he's actually more effective with the jab now, and he's throwing a left hand right behind it.
It's always interesting to me how the adjustments made at the end of the first round going into the second round. The coaching these two men get, or any fighters.
Well, it's like a chess match. Boxing is a chess match. It's how well your corner adjusts to the opponent. So what happens is, last round, Errol Sidney was getting hit with some shots, and his corner told him what to do. Now throw a jab and throw a straight left hand right behind him to keep Malik Hawkins off you.
JR, Errol Sidney Jr. told us that his key to victory was moving constantly inside and outside while always bringing the fight to Malik Hawkins. But as we see, it's Malik Hawkins effectively moving to the inside, landing shots and then getting right back out not to receive shots from Sidney.
Errol Sidney Jr. is not going to make any money on those ropes, Kevin.
Oh, no money. Tell you one thing, he can't get hit with those shots. Errol Sidney right now, like I said, he's still an athlete. Was a basketball player, but like I said, the thing is right now he's in boxing. And one thing, you can play football, you can play basketball, you can play soccer. You can't play boxing.
Well, Errol Sidney Jr. survived Katrina in New Orleans, but he may not survive Malik Hawkins if he doesn't stay off the ropes.
Well, the major thing that I see Errol Sidney doing right now is his chin's wide in the air. And look at his chin right there. Okay, he's not tucking his chin at all. You see Malik Hawkins going behind his chin, and Errol Sidney's chin in the air. And he's trying to catch that chin, Malik Hawkins. You just saw him try to catch it right there.
Malik Hawkins, as we said, he's 6 foot, 146 pounds, 20 years of age, undefeated. All 5 finishes, or 5 of his 6 finishes were in the first round. So at least the Spider survived the first round. Many others have not.
Hawkins starting to find a home for that short, sharp right hand, turning it over from short distance, getting again effectively to the inside.
Yeah, that's the key for righties. He's got to have an answer for it, Errol Sidney. He's got to make an answer for that. Block the right hand and throw your left hand, or he's going to be taken out with that straight right hand that Malik Hawkins hit him with.
Jay Nady telling Errol Sidney, watch out, leading with your head. Good left hand.
The left hand caught Spider on the jaw. The Iceman, very balanced, together. He seems together.
Well, the one thing that Sidney's not doing is he's got to have a plan when Malik throws one. The Iceman throws something at him, he has to have a plan.
As we're near the end of the second round of the 6-rounder here in downtown Las Vegas, in the shadow of the beautiful D Hotel and Casino, and we'll be back with more live boxing on the CBS Sports Network. Back live here in Las Vegas. Jim Ross, Kevin Kelly, Sean Wheelock here at ringside in our third of 6-rounder here. Errol Sidney Jr. against the Iceman, Malik Hawkins. Hawkins undefeated, 6-0.
J80 telling Malik Hawkins, bring those punches up. And he does just that on cue to the head. But you see, doubling and tripling the jab, then to the body with the right hand.
That's how you blind guys. You throw a double jab and right hand right behind it, because the jab blinds the right hand. And that's what he's good at. Malik is very good at doing that.
Errol Sidney Jr. with his back to us in the corner. 27 years old, 6-1-2 record. 76-inch reach, not doing any good right now because he's trapped.
Oh, he's getting hit with big shots right now. He has no answer for those shots. The uppercut, has no answer for the uppercut. He doesn't know how to get away from it. Right now, that basketball experience is not helping him.
The left and right hands of the Iceman are adversely affecting the Spider, as are his trunks.
JR, Errol Sidney Jr. told us that he felt that from playing at the NCAA Division I level basketball for the University of Louisiana Monroe, he has outstanding footwork and movement. But as you see, Malik Hawkins with this pressure style is just completely negating that. Again, Sidney is trapped in the corner. He spent a lot of this fight off of his back foot on his bike. There's no chance to move there. He's just simply caught by Malik Hawkins.
We're seeing why the Iceman, Kevin Kelly, is one of Roy Jones Jr.'s company's top prospects.
Yeah, well, you can see what it is. He's very aggressive. The thing the Spider is not doing is not utilizing his height. Malik is very good at neutralizing with a straight right hand. He's very schooled in it. Like I said, he's a boxer. And you're going against a basketball player who turned boxer. And it's showing up right now. See that jab right there, that little paw? That's what Errol Sidney shouldn't be doing. He's got to shoot that jab with some authority.
Big left hook just missed by the Iceman.
J80 a moment ago warning Malik Hawkins for holding, but just using the hold to the inside to land that right hand.
Right hand right downtown. Right down the middle of Broadway. It's almost like Sidney's target practice.
Yeah, straight right hands. That's the way you beat a southpaw. That's exactly what he's doing.
And the bullseye is on the Spider's face.
Sidney has got to turn and angle and move out of there.
But Sidney needs to throw that jab with authority. Back to the jab. Sidney's is in serious trouble as long as he goes against those ropes.
See Sidney trying to fire back with the right hand,
Yeah, nice.
but all off of his back foot.
Nice right hook to end the round by Errol Sidney Jr., the Spider from New Orleans, Louisiana. Okay, Kevin, you're up. Scoreboard. Unofficial.
Unofficial,
Of course, yes.
27-30. All Malik Hawkins. He's pouring it on right now. Errol Sidney doesn't seem to have a game plan to get off the ropes.
And I fully agree with you. 10-9s across the board.
Here we take a look at the action with Sidney against the ropes, taking all that punishment by Malik Hawkins. Malik Hawkins just distributing a lot of punishment. Sidney doesn't know to throw punches, slip and punch, slip and punch. Instead, he's just slipping but not punching.
That right hand coming right downtown, unfettered, no defense whatsoever, just right down the middle.
This is basic boxing 101. Right hand neutralizes a southpaw unless you're me.
And as we're scoring, under the ABC's unified rules of boxing scoring system, before you think about defense, before you think about ring generalship, look at clean, effective punching the legal targets, which is the body and the head. And that is Malik Hawkins in this fight, just dominating Errol Sidney Jr. thus far.
If you look really down at the footwork that Errol Sidney's doing, his footwork is actually inside the left foot okay, of Malik Hawkins. And Malik Hawkins is able to land that right hand over and over and over again. There it goes again. If you look at the footwork between Malik Hawkins and Errol Sidney, you'll see the problem.
Good body shots.
What Errol Sidney's not doing is spinning away to his right. He needs to walk to his right. Stop going to his left. Walk to his right. That's why he winds up in trouble.
Some more of those toxic body shots by the Iceman. Digging into the ribs of the Spider, the New Orleans Spider.
And JR, Hawkins just using that left as a rangefinder there, and then unloading with the right hand.
What he needs to do, Errol Sidney didn't work on, was staying outside of that foot, spinning to his right. He needs to spin to his right. That's what the Sidney needs to do. Go to your right. See, standing right in front for that right hand. Watch, he hit with the right hand, gonna get hit with the right hand again. I see it coming. There go the hook. He needs to spin away from those punches and to his right. Instead of going to his left, go to his right. Don't you agree?
No question about it, champ. I think you're exactly spot on with that. You can see Sidney's willingness to try to throw, but continually, too, he's throwing off of the back foot. And again, this is a fighter who told us he wanted to move inside, outside effectively. Instead, he's moving laterally and moving backwards.
It's like I said, once the bell rings, things change. What happens is, remember, your opponent has a plan too.
When you get hit in the face, things change.
Things change.
You rethink things.
Yeah.
Errol Sidney Jr. keeps adjusting his trunks. I don't know if that's a nervous habit or if his trunks are just riding up on him unnaturally. But if you watch every flurry by Hawkins, Sidney then finishes by adjusting his trunks, just like that.
Well, Sidney's doing that because he don't know exactly what to do. Okay? Sometimes that's a key. It's like Tommy Hearns used to rub his nose. Ray Robinson used to bump his gloves. Fighters do things when they're frustrated and don't know how to get to you.
Well, rights and lefts this time by the Iceman, Malik Hawkins. Fans watching in Baltimore. Appreciate you joining us here tonight on the CBS Sports Network.
As you can see that Hawkins is allowing and liking it, that he's walking right to the right hand, Sidney. Sidney's walking right to the right hand. He needs to go to his right. Go to your right. And he gets hit again. This is a
big right hand. Big right hand.
This is a vector mistake.
Another right hand. And the Iceman has come and has dominated another round. And he thought he might have missed an opportunity there, perhaps, to get a knockout in that round.
Well, we got a lot more action, I'll tell you that.
So the scorecard from our Hall of Fame unofficial judge.
Of course, I'm 40-36. I hope for Sidney that this fight continues to the 6th round. The way it looks right now, Malik is catching him with more straight right hands. The boxing basic rules is what Errol Sidney is not doing. Stand to your right, go to your right, go to your right. As you take a look right here, he lays right in front of that right hand, and they go to hook, they go to right hand all night long, because Errol Sidney's not getting the idea to step to your right, step to your right. Chris, what do you think?
You just see the relentless punches, and for me, it's really the positioning. Sidney continually trapped with his back in the corner and against the ropes. He has not been able to have effective forward movement in this fight. Our 3 judges scoring officially have been assigned by the state of Nevada, one of the best commissions in all of combat sports. I don't see how the judges can see it any other way, Kevin, from what you and I have. 4 straight 10-9 rounds, 40-36 for Malik Hawkins entering round 5.
There go that poor jab again. I mean, Errol Sidney needs to shoot the jab. It's a slap.
And what do you mean by a poor jab? It's a weak jab. It's an ineffective jab.
It's not a jab. It's not even a jab.
There you go.
What he's doing is he's pouring his hand out, okay, trying to block Hawkins' jab with his paw. So it's not effective. So what Hawkins is doing is blocking Sidney's jab and throwing over the top.
Iceman looking to load up that right hand. You know it's coming. He shot right to the sternum. Another hard body shot. Went upstairs, changed levels, and found effectiveness with the right hand from the Iceman.
Jade 80 warning Errol Sidney Jr. holding on the inside, but that's honestly not a bad idea from Errol Sidney, trying to slow down this attack of Malik Hawkins.
Well, the key is that he's lined up right in that right-hand path. He got to get out the way to train, as they call it. He's standing, he's going to his left. He should not be going to his left. He should go to his right. That's what Sidney's doing wrong here.
Everything now off the jab for Malik Hawkins. Kevin, you see that. Single jab, double jab, triple jab, then with the right hand.
Smart move. I mean, that's boxing 101 right there. What Malik Hawkins is doing is boxing 101. You throw the straight right hand on the southpaw, it's going to work all day, especially if he's walking into the right hand.
The Roy Jones Jr. prospect, Malik Hawkins, seems much more burst, much more skilled at this stage of the two careers. And he's 7 years younger than his adversary, the Spider.
That was a big right hand, JR, in that last sequence from Malik Hawkins.
I tell you, he's trying to take Errol Sidney out. Every time he throws that straight right hand, it's just a matter of time to see. There go a good right hand. I give Errol Sidney some credit. He's taking some great right hands, too.
He shows us he can take a punch. Hard punches, the uppercut. Errol Sidney Jr. has resided in the, he may be playing property tax. He's stood in the corner so long.
But Kevin, to your point, Errol Sidney Jr. is taking a lot of hard punches. He is still very much in this fight. He's definitely down, but he is not out. He is continuing to be a game opponent. If he has any chance of a comeback at all, he has to start moving. He has to circle out. He has to start throwing on his front foot instead of his back foot.
He has to start spinning to the right, going straight right hands, straight left hands. That's the way they say the rule in boxing is very simple. The way to beat a right hand is with a left hand, and somebody didn't tell him that.
Another right hand. Good uppercut. You can feel the impact from our vantage point here at ringside as we'll be headed into the 6th and final round. Let's take another look. Sean, take us to this first replay.
Again, you see off of the jab, the clean right hand getting through and then doubling up on the right hand. So many basic 1-1-2s, jab, jab, right hand coming in from Malik Hawkins. That was the warning from J-Nady to Errol Sidney Jr.
And your
for holding.
scorecard says?
50 to 45 through 5 rounds. Really just straight 10-9s across the board. I don't know how anyone could score it any other way unless you're the most ardent of Errol Sidney Jr. supporters.
And our Hall of Famer has
50-45, exact same. I mean, I think that Malik Hawkins is doing a good job, and I give Sidney credit for taking the damage.
Yes, sir. He's there's no shortage of intestinal fortitude by Errol Sidney Jr.
Well, there's some things he's got to learn. He's got to learn to step to his right when he fights a right-handed fighter.
Yeah, but my point is, he's willing to learn. If he's willing to learn, he's a tough kid.
I give him credit.
He's taken he's had some little government mule treatment. He's been abused, physically abused in this fight. Has Errol Sidney Jr., but he's still trying to compete.
I give him credit for that, but the whole thing is laying against the ropes. I want to see some more, as they say, muster up some energy, get in the center of the ring, make the fight more action-packed, give yourself a chance. By going against the ropes, you get your quittings.
Yeah.
J-Nady telling Malik Hawkins, don't push his head down, but Sidney just running forward, trying to turn up the tempo of this fight, trying to change the rhythm, but look where we are. Right back to where 90% of this fight has been.
Right hands, and down goes the Spider.
He's giving his fight away because by going to the ropes, he's giving the fight away.
Now fight's over.
Referee J-Nady stopping the fight. The body shots, the right hands became too much for the Spider to overcome as we have our first fight of the night and the first finish of the night. Take another look at, ladies and gentlemen, here the closing moments. Right hands, another right, a hard right to the body, and down to the knee. It was over. The fight was beat out of the Spider, Errol Sidney Jr. An impressive victory, ladies and gentlemen, here by the Iceman, Malik Hawkins, here in the downtown Las Vegas Event Center.
By the D Las Vegas. Long on fun, short on ordinary. By Title Boxing, redefining what being involved in the sport really means and what innovation really stands for. And by DLVEC. Visit DLVEC.com for upcoming events.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Sean, take us through the final moments of that last round.
So this is really the story of the fight, JR, in microcosm. Malik Hawkins trapping Errol Sidney Jr. into the corner, unloading to the body and to the head, finishing. Hawkins beating the count, getting up at 9, but referee Jay Nady electing to stop the fight on Errol Sidney Jr. Malik Hawkins just like that, 20 years old, 7-0.
Let's take it up to Joe Martinez for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes of the official time. 1 minute, 2 seconds, round number 6. Referee Jay Nady puts a halt to the bout. Your winner by TKO victory. He is still undefeated, Malik Iceman Hawkins.
Kevin Kelly will speak to the Iceman momentarily.
Malik, let's talk, Malik. Congratulations. Congratulations. Good fight, man. Good fight. Malik, in that fight, were you impressed by him, the punches that he took to the head?
Yes, but before I even start, first of all, I want to thank God for making this possible. I want to thank my promoters, the D Hotel, my coaches, Calvin, Kenny, my manager, Snappers Boxing Management. Baltimore, we back. We back.
You back. What's next now?
Whatever my management got for me.
Is there anything that you've seen that you could improve on in that fight? I mean, it was a good fight, but what did you see that you could improve on?
I'm going to let my coaches tell me.
Oh, you didn't feel anything in the ring?
Oh, yeah, but it's good. It's good to have your coaches tell you.
Oh, good to have your coaches tell you. Are you going to rate it yourself?
No.
On a 1 to 10, give me a rating.
8.5.
8.5, not bad, huh? Not bad. So give it up for the Iceman. Back to you, JR.
All right, thanks, Kevin, very much. Folks, nice victory. Let's take a look at some of the highlights earlier here tonight. And as we just got through this fight, great display of right-hand power.
And JR, Malik Hawkins continually coming forward, continually making Errol Sidney Jr. fight backwards, laterally, and mainly off of his back foot. Excellent ring generalship. You see controlling the movement, the flow of this fight. A lot of 1-1-2s, jab, jab, right hands from Malik Hawkins, doubling and even tripling the jabs, and then following viciously time and time again with the right hand. Errol Sidney Jr. would try to throw, but when he threw, it was normally 1 and 2 at a time, and you're seeing multiple punch combinations from Malik Hawkins.
The Spider lost the fight, not only to the Iceman, but he also lost the fight to his tailor. He needs to get a new tailor and get those trunks fixed and figure out a way to do something about getting nailed with a slobber knocker of a right hand by the Iceman. Ladies and gentlemen, our semi-final, our semi-main event is coming up next as we return to downtown Las Vegas and more live boxing. We're back live, ladies and gentlemen, downtown Las Vegas, Nevada. My home away from home, the D Hotel, as the downtown Las Vegas Event Center. We've got a great crowd here tonight. Our main semifinal main event is coming up momentarily. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready for that co-main event tonight, we're going to take you a deeper look into the fighters, as Nico Macias found out early in his career that not all shots taken during a fight come from punches.
I had the toughest opponent, Mr. Ramirez, I remember. And we went at it, and so many headbutts that I remember that they hurt more than the punches. The punches are okay. We got gloves on, and it was okay. But the headbutts, I remember having knots all on my head. But the 4 rounds, flew by like 4 minutes. It was nuts. And it was a great learning experience.
I was fighting an undefeated guy. I ended up stopping him in the 2nd round, but I was at a different weight class. I was up in weight, which I shouldn't have been. I learned that I need to, drop weight and be at this weight. I still want to go down a little more, but I feel comfortable at this weight. I feel strong, got good speed, and I feel like it's gonna make a big difference in the fight. My preparation is great. I have a strength and conditioning trainer that has pushed me, harder than I've ever been. I lost a couple fights, I felt like one of them was because of the strength and conditioning, but now I feel ready for this fight.
Well, my boxing style is going to be very exciting for boxing fans and people that are not boxing fans, because I'm not a typical defensive fighter. I'm all offense, and that's where I've got my nickname, the Rooster. I didn't choose it. The fans gave it to me because I go in there and I just fight to the death.
Everything, I bring a lot of speed for the weight class that I'm in. I definitely have worked on my power with my strength conditioning trainer, so I feel like that'll be a big advantage that I have. I got 8 knockouts in my record, so I feel like I do have a pop. I know my guys gonna come forward, but I feel like I can get them off with my punches, so I feel real confident.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are just moments away from what should be a very spirited, a very physical co-main event here tonight as we take it up to Joe Martinez.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This bout tonight, 8 rounds in the junior middleweight division. Making his way to the ring first, fighting out of the black corner from Illinois, Limber Ponce.
Well, his friends call him Limbo. He's 10-2 with 8 knockouts. From the Quad Cities, lives in Rock Island, Illinois. 24-year-old young man. He's got a little boy, a year and a half old. He's going to marry the little boy's mama in August 13th. It'd be nice, Kevin, to get a nice payday here tonight. Help get the guy set up in his marriage.
Well, get him started,
Yep.
He's got to get ready for the abuse anyway, okay? He's about to get married. That's a fight that he'll never win. I'll never win.
He's going to be marrying Caitlin on August 13th. So if you want to get him a gift, folks, you can go, you can Google it. So as a matter of fact, he proposed to her after one of his fights. And he's one of the nicest kids. When I met him, I thought, this kid is too darn nice to be a fighter.
Well, it's never too nice to be a fighter. It just means that when the bell rings, you turn into a fighter.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
I guess when at home, when the bell rings, he's going to be a losing fighter because he can't beat the wife.
Let's go back to Joe.
And his opponent tonight, fighting out of the red corner, making his way to the ring from Palm Desert, California, the undefeated Nico Macias.
Well, he likes to be called the Rooster. He said, I didn't give myself that nickname, but don't let him kid you, folks. He likes being called the Rooster. 11-0 is this kid from Palm Desert, California, with 6 knockouts. He's 5'9", 152. And he has been averaging, listen to this, folks, you boxing aficionados, 150 punches per round. That's busy.
That stay busy. See, the thing is, it reminds me back of fighters that stay busy, like a Troy Dorsey, Juan the Diaz. Busy fighters, one thing they beat you on is consistency. I'm not going to be, not going to be a guy that's showy, but consistency.
And here we go once again, ladies and gentlemen. This bout is scheduled for 8 rounds in the junior middleweight division. The 3 judges scoring at ringside, Tim Cheetah, Dave Moretti, and Ricardo Ocasio. When the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Kenny Bayless. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the black corner. Wearing black trunks trimmed in gray, he weighed in 152 pounds even. As a professional in 12 bouts, his record, 10 victories, 2 defeats with 8 wins, coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Rock Island, Illinois, here is Limber Ponce. And now his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. Wearing lime green, trimmed in silver, he weighed in also 152 pounds. In 11 professional bouts, he stands perfect, 11 victories, no defeats, 6 wins. Coming by knockout from Palm Desert, California, here is the undefeated Nico, the Rooster Macias. Once again, referee Kenny Bayless with the final instruction.
caution again. Fight clean at all times, protect yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey. Good luck, touch your body. Good luck, buddy. Good luck.
Well, Nico Macias, the Rooster, says he wants to pound. I want to pound my opponent. And, of course, Limbo Ponce has something to say about that.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The Rooster throws a lot of punches. I like his personality. He's very outgoing, very charismatic. He's good for boxing.
And JR, as we see on the opening bell, Nico Macias literally sprinting out of his corner. To me, this fight is going to be about movement and distance. Nico Macias wants this range on the inside, as you mentioned, try to throw at least 150 punches per round. Ponce wants to circle out, keep moving, do not take a lot of shots.
Watch your head.
Well, easier said than done. The biggest thing that Ponce has to do is keep moving. Okay, step around here. You got another lefty out of Nico. Nico's a southpaw again, so here we go again. We got to step with that left foot to the right. Okay, so what's going to happen is there's a footwork contest here. And Nico wants to throw lots and lots of punches, get him in position. So it's going to be a lot of movement by Ponce.
Nico obviously will eat some punches to get his end. He wants to get as close to the body of Limbo Ponce as possible.
Work out.
JR, he told us he felt that was one of his strengths. Be careful what you wish for. I don't know if saying you can take a good punch is ever a good idea as a combat sports athlete, but Nico Macias said it works for my style. I know I'm going to get hit to work to the inside.
Well, we've gushed over Nico's 11-0 record, but
Work out.
Ponce's record 10-2, not too shabby with 8 knockouts.
He is a very talented fighter, and he has a much different style as already we're seeing here in round number 1. More of a counter puncher, wants a little more distance, a lot more movement. Macias is a classic puncher's pocket fighter.
So if you look at fighters like, but the one thing I noticed about Nico punches with the inside of his glove a little bit, so he's kind of slapping a little bit. So he's not getting a direct shot. Okay, if you look right there, see, he's pawing with the inside of his glove. So he's not getting a flush shot sometimes. That's the inexperience I see on Nico.
Nice left hook there moments ago by the Rooster, Nico Macias. In close, nice left. The southpaw scored the big time with that left hand, and another left uppercut, finding his mark on Limbo Ponce.
JR, though, Ponce is definitely finding counter punches, just like there with the right hand. He used the word exit. He said, I need to keep moving and keep finding the exit because I know Macias will come inside.
Well, the one thing is you got to keep spinning. That's the rule. Rule in a fight like this, all Ponce has to do is keep spinning. If he gets close, spin. Spin to your right, spin to your left. Throw your combo, spin to your right, spin to your left. With a guy that's consistent like this, like a Troy Dorsey style or a Juan Bull Diaz style, you got to spin to your right and left.
Very spirited first round here in our co-main event. Two young 24-year-olds trying to make their mark here on national television on the CBS Sports Network with a combined record of 21-2. So the first round ends as we are being joined here at ringside. Very happy to welcome Derek Stevens, the owner of the D Hotel, my home away from home. How are you?
Hey, JR, how you doing?
Hey,
Sean, what's going on?
Derek, thank you for being with
Great
us,
to
and
see
thank
you.
you for having us.
I love this coat, man.
Oh, yeah, we got it covered. We got it all covered here, that's for sure.
It's a little NASCAR. I like it. It's good. Hey, I know you're a big boxing fan.
Yeah.
How did that start?
Oh, you know what? One of my first fights, I was out the back of Caesar's Palace. It was Bo Holyfield too. That was a fan man fight, you know.
Yeah.
I fell in love with outdoor boxing, and I thought with what we could do with this event center, we could do the same thing down here 20 years later.
And last night was a very important night for you and all of us, your amateur program.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, this battle-born boxing that we're doing here before the pro fights has been great. Allows us the opportunity to support all these youth athletes out here in Nevada, and you know, we were able to make a little donation to some of these fighters. So it was great.
As we get started now in our second round here of 8, and Derek, you're going to stick around here and call some fights here. You know, Sean can use some help. I'm kidding. I can use a lot of help.
Well, if you're not throwing me out, I'm going to hang in there.
Oh, heck yeah.
Macias starting round number 2 just like he started round number 1, literally running to the center of the ring.
He's an aggressive kid. He's a very aggressive kid. Hasn't lost yet. So we'll see how when he's pressured, how he's going to respond. But, man, he loves to throw that left hand.
Just because you're the volume puncher does not mean that you're necessarily winning the fight. With that said, I gave Nico Macias round number 1 10-9 versus Limberth Ponce. I thought it was a close 10-9. Primarily what the judges are looking for under the ABC's unified rules in boxing scoring is clean, effective punching. You can throw a lot of punches, but are they landing? Macias was landing a lot of punches. The counter, though, JR and Derek, is that Ponce was landing effectively, just not in as high a number.
Well, nobody spent any time feeling each other out, that's for sure.
The warm-up period was in the locker room.
That's right.
They broke their sweat there, and they came out here to fight. And that's what you're going to see here every time we're on, ladies and gentlemen. Young, hungry fighters looking to make their mark, especially here in Las Vegas, the fight capital of the world. And these two kids have got a lot to prove, and they both got bright futures. Boy, I tell you what, the Rooster loves that left, as we said, and he's going to dance with what brung him, as Darrell Royal said. Google it, kids. Darrell Royal, football guy.
I'm an old Big 8 guy from Kansas City. I got the reference, JR.
The Rooster gets close. Look for the left hand. The left uppercut has been his go-to thus far.
We talked at the start of this fight about distance, about movement. This is the range that Nico Macias wants. Ponce ultimately does not want to allow Macias to sit on his chest just like this and throw punches. He wants this to circle out and then land from the outside.
Stop. Don't push. All right, here we go.
Kenny Bayless warning Macias for pushing.
Good round for both men, quite frankly.
Stop, sit back.
Big smile on the face of Nico Macias.
He came into our fighters meeting room smiling, less smiling.
He's been smiling all day. I saw him at lunch, that's right.
My dad said, always watch those tough guys that smile a lot. Beware of those people.
This is the 12th pro boxing bout for Nico Macias. He's 24 years old. He didn't even start training in boxing until he was 20.
In front.
I'd say he's got a pretty significant future ahead of him.
There's no question, and part of it is just this relentless style.
All right, that's the end of the round. Derek, I want to talk more about last night. We're going to have a little footage here. Your contribution last night was so heartwarming and so much appreciated.
Well, yeah, it was great. We had a great time, and helping to support all these boxing clubs in Las Vegas was great.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with more live boxing in the shadow of the D in downtown Las Vegas on the CBS Sports Network. And we are back at it, ladies and gentlemen. It is Limberth Ponce and the undefeated Nico Rooster Macias here in the shadow of the D Hotel Casino in downtown Las Vegas. Third of an 8-rounder in our co-main event. The young man in green, the Rooster, has yet to lose in his career, 11-0.
This is his first fight in Las Vegas too, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. You're right. And these kids are, all of them, have been so excited just the opportunity to fight in Las Vegas.
Ponce starting to find the range with his counter strikes, but leading with the right shoulder, getting right back into the pocket is Nico Macias. JR and Derek, with this wide open style of Macias throwing so many punches, there are going to be openings. Limberth Ponce has to find those openings. He's starting to here in round number 3, but again, relentless from Macias, continuing to come forward.
It's imperative that Ponce become a great counter puncher in a fight where you got a fighter so busy as the Rooster. Derek, he's averaging 150 punches a round. Ooh, that's a busy man.
Non-stop, it's been like that since the first bell.
It is a wearing down type of style utilized by Nico Macias. So many punches, such a high volume, and they're coming from different angles.
Nice left and a right.
See the open chest, the open shoulders of Nico Macias. He throws very wide, but he throws in such volume, they're effective. It's much less effective in boxing, more so in MMA, but much less so in boxing to throw wide one at a time. But in volume, it works.
Ponce got a nice right hand catching the Rooster walking in. Again, the key to this fight, it seems like as it's working out, is for Ponce to become that great counter puncher and try to find the opening for some of those wild shots that we're seeing from the Rooster.
No.
You see Macias off the break of Kenny Bayless and then running right back to the inside.
And he got met with a right hand as he walked in. So a nice strategy there, I think, by Limber Ponce. He started boxing when he was 9 years old because his mother thought he was too chunky. Needed some exercise.
Hey, fellas, I want to tell you, this has been terrific bringing boxing to downtown Las Vegas. And think about it, downtown Las Vegas on a Saturday night with the fights. What's better than this?
How could it be better?
That's right.
And the weather's great, the stars are bright, the Nevada sky, the fans are here. We got a great crowd on hand. The location could not be better, and the novel way that boxing's being presented with all these young, hungry kids is so refreshing.
Hey, thanks a lot, fellas. I'm gonna go have a little fun watching the fight, and then I'm gonna meet you over at Long Bar for a little cocktail later on. Have a great night.
Take you up on that, Derek.
All right. Thanks a lot, fellas.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care.
Good man. Great for boxing, ladies and gentlemen. Derek Stevens. And this is an interesting fight we're having here. Sean, I think that, I don't know what you got on your scorecard, but the Rooster may have a little edge, but it's a close fight.
It is a very close fight, and with that said, I have it 3 rounds to none, 30-27 Nico Macias, but it's not a blowout.
Is that because he's just busier?
He's busier, but he is landing more punches. You can be busy, but if you're punching the glove, if you're punching the arms, the shoulders, it doesn't work. He has great forward movement, but he's doing something with all of those punches, that high volume.
Kevin Kelly has rejoined us here, and Champ, I've been noticing Ponce is catching the Rooster walking in with a right hand. He's done it 3 or 4 times. Sometimes that's going to pay some dividends for him. We're having some issues with Kevin's mic. We'll get that addressed momentarily and get the champ's feedback on what he saw here in that round that he was observing. Another straight right hand, left hand, excuse me, by the Rooster, Nico Macias, and the lime green tights.
And that was a big left hand again, JR, from Macias. He literally runs into the puncher's pocket.
I like the fact that the body shots are from the Rooster. He's grinding, he's twisting that hand when he gets into the body. Those are nasty body shots by the kid in green.
Fully agreed. And as he works the head, you're seeing an abrasion now outside of the right eye on the face of Limber Ponce.
Limber Ponce, his friends calling Limbo.
Again, the fighter who is coming forward isn't always winning. The fighter who throws more punches isn't always winning. But Champ, you know, when you're coming forward, you have a high volume and you're landing, you're winning the fight.
Stop.
I think we got it addressed now. Trying to get Champ. We're still having audio issues with Kevin, but we'll address that momentarily. Just bear with us, Champ. Ponce, what a gold medal, the Chicago Golden Gloves. He's had a nice success as an amateur.
Well, here we go. Well, I'm back.
You're back, man.
The flash is back. Well, what we're seeing right now is very simple. Nico's going forward with lots and lots of punching. There's a thing in boxing called ring generalship, and that's exactly what he's winning. Okay, he's winning ring generalship.
Don't hold.
Both men exchanging aggressively, and this fight will continue, and we'll be back live from downtown Las Vegas, Nevada on Knockout Night at the D here on the powerful CBS Sports Network. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, live here in downtown Las Vegas. Our semifinal main event, Nico Macias in the green, undefeated. The Rooster, undefeated from Palm Desert, California, against a courageous young guy, Limber Ponce, Limbo, 10-2. Both men 24 years of age. Both men fighting for the first time in Las Vegas, and both men wanting to impress here on national television.
And they definitely impressed. I'll tell you one thing, it's the first time people go to a boxing match and a fight breaks out. So right now, a fight is broken out in this arena, okay, and we're all watching two combatants just go to war. Okay, go to war. Ponce didn't want to be invited to this war, but guess what? Nico is bringing him to the war.
As this fight progresses, Macias still throwing in high volume, but he's throwing heavier. Just like that short left hand, he's starting to turn over his lefts and rights more.
Well, the one thing here we face again, southpaw against the righty, with Ponce not stepping outside that foot, not stepping outside the foot. So that's the major problem here.
Both men very aggressive. Neither showing fear. You gotta love that from two 24-year-olds. And ladies and gentlemen, you gotta imagine how important this is for these two young men in this point in their career to be in Las Vegas, the fight capital, and be on national television.
Yeah, but the one thing you gotta remember, one thing. Ponce is probably saying to himself, what is he saying to himself? I can't get this man off.
Big left, big left.
Yeah, big one. But guess what? He's saying, I hit him with everything I got. He's still coming. How do I stop this man? He's got to go to the body. Ponce got to go to the body.
Well, the Rooster's got one gear. It's forward.
Yeah, but he's got to go to the body. Ponce got to go to the body. Ponce don't go to the body. The Rooster will get him.
Big exhale on the break from Kenny Bayless from Limber Ponce.
Ponce got to keep his hands up.
Yeah, I think he's exhausted right now. Remember, he's got this man all over him like a cheap suit. He is all over him. Nico is like skin. He stays tight to you. He throws lots of punches. Keep throwing punches. You have to be in great condition to take this fight on.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The Rooster wants to pound. He said before, I want to pound my opponent. And right now he's trying to beat this young man from Rock Island, Illinois, like a government mule, as the referee takes a long look into the eyes of Limber Ponce. A very busy, fast 3-minute round here.
Amazing. This is crazy.
Good fight. Good fight, folks. These young guys are fighting their hearts out. Again, I can't stress enough just how important for these kids. Kevin, how was it for you the first time you fought in Vegas? Was it big deal?
I fought at Sands Casino, 1989. It was up at the time. And my fight lasted 30 seconds.
Well, let's take a look at this.
So here we take a look at what Nico's doing. He does, nothing bothers him when he gets hit. He just keeps coming forward, like a rooster attacking. Keep constant. They go that right hook over and over again. He's staying busy. Here we take a look at the action. Nothing that Ponce does affects him. Nothing affects the rooster. He just keeps coming, keeps going. Nothing stops him.
Well, I'll tell you what, we knew that the Rooster would be willing to eat some punches to get his, to get close, to get where he could use that left hand. And he's done that, and this young man is a gallant kid from Illinois, but gosh almighty, this kid is a whirling dervish, if you will.
It's such a difficult opponent for Limber Ponce because Macias is just relentless. Again, look how he starts this round, literally running out of his corner.
And I'd like to ask myself, what in the hell is a whirling dervish, by the way?
I'm sure Ponce thinking right now, I hit him with everything, I need a gun. I need a gun, I gotta go get a gun, a stick or something, a bat, something. Because guys like this, it reminds me of a fight that I had myself against a guy named Troy Dorsey, who kept coming, and everything I did didn't stop him. So my trainer said at the time, line up on your punching power, throw more punches, and outwork him. That's what he told me. And that's what Ponce needs in this fight, to outwork Macias.
JR and Kevin, as we go back to the pre-fight strategy that Limber Ponce told us, it was sound. He knew what to expect from Nico Macias. He said, I've got to throw short combinations, then move quickly to the outside, counterpunch, and keep finding exits. He was counterpunching effectively early in this fight. That slowed down. What he's not doing is finding the exit.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be able to find the exit because no matter what he does, Nico is right there. First of all, what Ponce has to do is step to his left, outstep that foot, okay? He has to step to his left. Of course, the key is, there he goes. He stands right in front of the left hand of Nico, and Nico's gonna land it every single time. He's getting hit with some tremendous shots right now.
Limbo in the wrong part of town. Bad part of Las Vegas right now for Limbo Ponce. And watch the left hand. The young man in green will pulverize you with his left hand. It's that simple.
Stop. He's very consistent, in very good shape, and he stays very busy on top of you. He makes you second guess yourself. Guys like this make you second guess yourself because you hit him with everything. It's like a bully. You're in the alley with a guy, right? Hit him with the best shot, and right, nothing happens. Guess what you do? You run. You run.
You see Macias still smiling as he comes forward.
Macias runs right toward Ponce.
Well, psychological advantage here is happening with Nico. Nico is taking a psychological advantage.
Nice left.
And it was short, JR.
Yes, sir. Short and deadly.
Right now, Nico is wearing his man down. It's called the war nutrition. Right now, he's wearing down Ponce. Ponce has to be a little more effective by stepping to, fighting the wrong fight Ponce is. He needs to start stepping to his left.
We knew these fights, these young kids are going to be active, they're going to be physical, they're going to be intense. And that's what we're getting here in this semi-main, no doubt.
This is what boxing is about, young and hungry. When you're hungry and you're young, these are the best kind of fights.
Hey, I'm hungry all the time, but I'm damn sure not young. So does that count for anything?
Nah, eating don't count.
Okay.
Eating don't count.
Oh, it's a psychological hunger.
Yeah, psychological hunger. Eating don't count.
I'm with you.
I know you want a burger, but that's it. We go to Fat Burger after this.
I need barbecue.
Oh, barbecue. Texas. Well, right now, I tell you one thing, Nico's putting a sauce right now on Ponce.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the round is over, and we'll be back with more from Las Vegas on the CBS Sports Network. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, live in Las Vegas. Jim Ross, Kevin Kelly, Sean Wheelock in our semi-main here. And the Rooster in green, Nico Macias, controlling this fight. We're in our 7th of 8th rounds. I guess I like Ponce. I think Ponce is going to be a heck of a fighter, but he just has figured out a way to handle the left hand and the onslaught, the constant onslaught and barrage of the Rooster.
Like I said, he's got to go to his left, Ponce. He has to keep spinning to his left. Instead, he's going into the left hand. And that's why he keeps getting hit. See, right there. He's starting to do it now. Now he's starting to do it. Now he's starting. See, there you go, right there. See, he made a miss. He made the Rooster miss. But then he goes back to the same side again.
Both men exchanging in the corner. The corner has not been kind to Ponce thus far in this fight.
Yeah, Ponce is going the wrong way again. He has to go to his left, not to his right. Escape from that left hand that he's getting hit with. It's called lefty southpaw things. You know, these righties like to stay on the inside where the left hand is. Very dangerous for that.
Much better movement here in round number 7 from Limbo Ponce.
But he still moved the wrong way. He's going to his right instead of to his left.
And we're seeing a busier right hand from Nico Macias in this fight, in this round, I should say, because he's lived and died with his left hand thus far. But his right hand has been pretty good in this fight, in this round.
Bring him up, Ponce. Yeah, Nico's that uppercut I think is very underrated right now that he has. He has a very good uppercut that nobody really realizes that he has. If you watch, sometimes, there you go again. Oh, look at it. He brings the chin right up in the air. I'm surprised he don't finish with the hook. It should be uppercut underneath and hook.
Nico Macias, Palm Desert, California, undefeated, 11-0.
He's a buzzsaw. You can see why he's undefeated right now. He's a buzzsaw.
I think what we're seeing, though, here in round 7 is Ponce's best round since round 2. He's not being trapped in the corner. He's not keeping his back against the ropes, and he's countering much more effectively.
I still got him losing a round, but he is acting a little bit better in this round because I see some little bit behavior on his punches. Okay, I see, mood altering, I would say, behavior, but Nico was not paying attention to that.
Macias continues to throw in volume, but more than that, he continues to move forward smartly, effectively.
Right now, like I said, what Limbo needs to do is lighten up on his puncher power, throw little tiny baby shots, 5 and 6 at a time, 5 and 6 at a time to get back into this fight.
But Kevin, he's running out of time.
Yeah, well, he ain't got much time. Like I said, he's got to need a knockout right now. He is down 7 rounds.
Little showbiz from the Rooster, having some fun here. He knows he's in control. And Kevin, you said that it's a clean sweep so far, apparently, for the Rooster.
I got it scored unofficially, of course. I got 70-63. I don't have Ponce winning 1 round. I mean, right now, laying on the ropes, taking a punishment, it's not a good way to win a fight.
Champ, I'm one off from you. I actually gave that 7th round to Limberth Ponce. I think it's a very close round. I thought he actually landed the cleaner strikes on the counter. I think someone can make a case for Ponce in rounds 1 and 2. He was at least moving. We saw movement there in round number 7, but overall, this is Nico Macias' fight.
Well, here we take a look.
A little steak, a little sizzle. There's a little sizzle for you.
He's a little showboat. Like I said, he shouldn't let you know he's control the action. He puts his hands up, does his shuffle, and he's back to work.
Last round, payday round for somebody. And obviously, we think that Limberth Ponce must knock out or stop the Rooster.
He needs a knockout to win this fight.
Yeah.
No doubt.
No question.
A stoppage.
Be interesting to see Nico Macias. If he wants to cruise to a unanimous decision win, or if he wants to open up even more with his aggressiveness, which is hard to do with his volume, and look for the knockout.
I don't think the Rooster has a cruise control.
Yeah, what's crazy about it is that Ponce is 10-2 with 8 knockouts, so it shows that he can punch. And he's not affecting the Rooster at all.
Rooster is, both these kids got a lot of guts, but it's obvious that Nico Macias is fearless.
He makes up with endurance that he lacks in boxing education.
He's a machine. He's a cardio machine. It's a kid in green.
Oh, I like that. You rhymed, man. You rhymed. I like that. That was really good.
Blood on the face of Limberth Ponce. You see under the left eye.
Nose.
Coming out of both nostrils. And the blood speared onto his cheek.
He's going to feel this one tomorrow. This kind of fight, you go home and take an ice bath. So make everything go down, because you're going to have a lot of swelling tomorrow.
He'll have to get back to the Quad Cities, get on his John Deere tractor, and go for a casual Sunday ride.
He'll be able to move tomorrow. Your arms are going to be hurting tomorrow. His back's going to be hurting. His legs going to be hurting. He got hit everywhere in this fight, so he's going to have to definitely need some time to recover.
But let's say this, neither man, they haven't phoned anything in. There's been great effort in this fight by both these kids. I see that they can both become really good fighters in time.
Yes, I definitely give Ponce some credit. Durability, definitely give him credit. I mean, I don't think this is a career-ending fight for him.
Oh, no.
He could definitely come back even better than this fight. It's a learning experience for Mr. Ponce.
At the top of this broadcast, Kevin, we said this is a crossroads fight for these two 24-year-olds. Nico Macias presumably is going to improve to 12-0 unless the real unforeseen happens. It's a big step forward. Ponce, a talented fighter, entered at 10-2, as you said, with 8 knockouts. It's a step backwards, but he still has a very promising future. He's an effective counterpuncher. This has just been a difficult style for him to solve.
And the other thing about Ponce, he's a quality kid. He's a good human being. And good human beings, I believe, good things come to good people.
Yeah, well, like I said, you know, bad things happen tonight for Ponce, but good things do. Oh, he got hurt with a shot right there.
Left hand,
a straight
big time left.
And I tell you, his legs buckled.
Oh, left uppercut by the Rooster.
To me, the Rooster's best punch is actually that uppercut. That's something he should definitely invest some real estate in, because that uppercut that he has is a real good uppercut.
Mouth wide open now for Limberth Ponce.
10 seconds left in the fight. The Rooster will be crowing when this one's over, fellas. I gotta believe. Well, Roosters don't lay any eggs, and the undefeated Nico Macias did not lay an egg here tonight. Very impressive night for Nico Macias. What great passion, amazing cardio, and the Rooster having some fun.
Here we take a look at Nico attacking. Then an uppercut I talked about. Uppercut, and that's when he buckled the legs of Ponce.
And we'll be back, ladies and gentlemen, with a decision from downtown Las Vegas on the CBS Sports Network. And here's the closing moments earlier. Left hand, downtown. Green tights, left hand, undefeated. He'll be 12-0 momentarily, Sean.
JR, there's punching volume, and then there's punching volume, and then there's Nico Macias.
The Rooster will crow momentarily as we take you back up to Joe Martinez.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, after 8 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards. All three have it the same, 79-73. Your winner by unanimous decision And still undefeated, Nico the Rooster Macias.
Well, the Rooster didn't lay an egg tonight, folks. Still undefeated, 12-0. And I think we're going to see this young man, many more times, including right now with Kevin Kelly.
Let's talk. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Cock-a-doodle-doo. What you got to say to the people out there?
I just got to thank the Lord God. Without him, nothing's possible. And the three most important things: familia, friends, and forgiveness. Thank you, everybody.
Beautiful, beautiful. Let me ask you a question. Was you amazed that he took the punishment that you were administering?
I knew he was going to be the toughest fighter I ever met. So I give much respect to Ponce. And thank you, everybody here. We just want to bring you a great fight, a great show.
Would you give Mr. Ponce a rematch?
Of course.
In the same city that you fought him in? Because I think he'll watch the footage and want a rematch.
Of course. Bring it. If it's a good fight, if the crowd wants it, bring it.
Crowd, give it up hand for the Rooster.
Indeed, the Rooster.
Cock-a-doodle-doo me. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Back to you, Junior.
All right, buddy. Here's some highlights, Sean. About a minute's worth of highlights here. There's a lot of left hands, man.
79-73 from the three state of Nevada judges. I scored it the same. Ponce was competitive in rounds 1 and 2. I gave them to Macias. I thought Ponce won round 7. That's because he was circling out and exiting, but he could not solve this relentless pressure attack from Nico Macias. The counters weren't there. Macias just simply overwhelming with movement and with punches. That's a really impressive victory for Nico Macias, now 12-0.
The Rooster has an amazing motor, folks, an amazing motor. We're going to be hearing a great deal more from this young man, and hopefully back here on Knockout Night at the D. And our main event, folks, still to come, right here tonight on the CBS Sports Network, and we'll be back with it live. We are back live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for staying with us here on the CBS Sports Network, the downtown Las Vegas Event Center, in the shadow of the D Hotel and Casino. A great crowd on hand for our inaugural voyage of Knockout Night at the D. And Kevin, you got something for us?
Yes. Here we have a man that's taller, 5'11" in the heat, a lot of experience, going against Steve Claggett. Steve Claggett is 5'8". If you look here, we look at some footage of the fights earlier. Very, very good fight here earlier. You had Spencer, okay, fighting the heat. Well, the Iceman fought earlier. That was a good win.
Iceman is a fine prospect. Roy Jones Jr.'s company has got him a fine there. He's a player.
Well, you can see some action here. Him
Right
stepping
hand.
in, throwing shots straight. Not missing too many shots.
No.
A good way. I look forward to seeing him in the future. A good young upcoming talent. Back at the D, maybe fighting some more. More dates.
I would be willing to wager that, and this is a city of wagering. I would say that I would bet my money that we'll see the Iceman again on this program. Maybe in May.
Maybe in May. That'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
Bring him back.
I can be a matchmaker.
He fought the Spider.
Yeah.
So let's see what the Ice does next time.
Great scene here. Great atmosphere. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time to take a closer look at our main event fighters. As both young men have found out, being a boxer can be very lonely at times.
Pro fight that I ever had was, it was a solo experience. I remember driving from my hometown, Calgary, to Edmonton all by myself a couple days before the fight. And I remember I had to go get my medicals done, I had to get an MRI, I had to do a bunch of stuff, and I had to do it all alone. It was a lot of pressure, but I also was very excited because I had seen all these, I'd been really studying boxing and I'd been in the game for a long time already, and it was a great experience for me because I won that fight.
In 2006, August 16th, and it was nerve-wracking. Everything I never expected. Nervous. It was the longest walk through the ring. It was the longest 3 minutes of my life. We won by a second round TKO, but it felt like there's no bell. It's never going to end. It was exhausting. What a boxer goes through is something beyond what any non-boxer can think it is. It is draining mentally and physically. Physically from the fight, what you put your body through to the lead up of the fight in the training camp, the diets, spitting blood every second day in sparring. The fan doesn't see that. They don't see the diet, they don't see the pain, they don't see the making weight. The emotions that goes through to a fight. You sit in a changing room for 5 hours knowing that I'm about to step into a ring where the guy on the opposite side of the corner, he wants to hurt me, he's gonna punch me. You know that. It's like stepping in a lion's den and you know the lion's gonna eat you. Taking a loss onto yourself, you're alone. You got to deal with this alone. It might seem to a normal fan that it's just a loss, but like you just said, it's not a soccer game, it's not a football game. This is boxing. It is you and you alone. You win, it's a beautiful thing. You lose, you take it on yourself. And to sit in a room and get through that, it is draining. It is emotional and it's draining.
The feeling of overcoming fear, doubt, and battling with yourself, the internal conflict, and not to mention the external conflict, everybody pressuring you, doubting you, and criticizing you, but being able to do that and going through it and getting the job done is a feeling of accomplishment that it can't be matched. And that's something that it keeps fighting. There's a big separation between fighters and an average person, and that's something that I love about boxing.
We are anticipating a phenomenal main event to bring our inaugural night at the Knockout Night of the D to a close here in downtown Las Vegas. The Fremont Street experience is alive and very, very well. A great crowd on hand here tonight. We thank you for being up late with us if you're on the East Coast. If you enjoyed other fights tonight, we're glad that you're with us here for our main event. Couldn't be timed any better.
Vince Neil, one of the many celebrities in attendance tonight for Knockout Night at the D. There's the founder and creator of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, Art Davie. Actor Frank Grillo from The Purge Anarchy, as well as Warrior, a very good MMA movie. And Jesse Vargas with us as well.
Charles Wright, the Godfather, newest member of the WWE Hall of Fame here with his lovely wife, Denise.
Well, you never know who's going to show up to the fights, huh? And everybody likes to fight.
Let's go to Joe.
Well, fans, we are set to go with our featured bout of the evening. 10 rounds in the welterweight division. And making his way to the ring first, fighting out of the black corner from Santa Monica, California, here is Chris Van Heerden.
Well, Chris Van Heerden spent the majority of his life in Johannesburg, South Africa. He is the former IBO welterweight champion of the world with a 23-3-1 record. Kevin, he lost his last fight. He lost his title in his last fight. What does that do to you mentally to regroup? Because he told us in our fighter meeting, I have to win Saturday night, and it's Saturday night.
Yes, because this will be 2 steps backwards to make a front foot forward. He got stopped his last fight, too. TKO. Not knocked out, but TKO. He needs to get a big win here, okay, to show that nothing's happened to with the TKO, with the loss, losing the belt. To get back on mark, he has to show dominance again.
This young man has never been knocked down in his career. He's our senior citizen here tonight, Sean.
He's JR.
28.
Very experienced, 23-2-1. Aside from being, as you mentioned, JR, the IBO welterweight champion, he served as the main sparring partner for both Saul Canelo Alvarez and Miguel Cotto. He used the word dance. He said, I want to dance in the ring. Constant movement, high work rate, those are my keys to victory.
He also sparred with Sugar Shane Mosley. So that's a great deal of experience that he's received.
And his opponent tonight, making his way to the ring, fighting out of the red corner from Canada, here is Steve Claggett.
The Dragon. From Calgary, Alberta, Canada. 5'8", 147. Very impressive record does the Canadian welterweight champion have. 23-3, 16 knockouts of those 23 victories. Both these guys are very personable. They got big personalities. The personalities, if the personalities match their boxing skills, they got everything a promoter, a matchmaker would want, because they feel like when you talk to them, you're talking to a star.
Yeah,
Two stars.
Well, the big thing here is very simple. The Heat Van Heerden is 5'11". Steve Claggett is only 5'8". So there's definitely a reach advantage for Chris Van Heerden.
The Dragon's mom, Chinese, his dad, Canadian. Vice president of an oil company in Canada. 14 years on the ice. So he's an athlete. And most of those guys that are on the ice that long know how to scrap.
He said even though he wasn't an enforcer, he was a center, he definitely would scrap. He said that helped him with his boxing.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, live on CBS Sport Network from the downtown Las Vegas Event Center, Las Vegas, Nevada, this is the main event of the evening. 10 rounds of boxing this scheduled in the welterweight division. Presented by Roy Jones Jr. Promotions and the D Las Vegas. Sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, the Executive Director, Bob Bennett. Your three judges scoring at ringside, Robert Hoyle, Patricia Morse-Jarman, and Glenn Trowbridge. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Jay Nady. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the judges are ready and the fighters are ready. Las Vegas, make some noise if you are ready! Introducing to you first, fighting out of the black corner, wearing green trimmed in gold, he weighed officially 147 pounds. In 26 professional bouts, his record stands at 23 victories, 2 defeats, 1 draw with 12 wins by way of knockout. From Santa Monica, California, here is the former IBO welterweight world champion, Chris the Heat Van Heerden. And next, his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. He wears black with red and gold and weighed officially 147 pounds. 26 bouts, 23 victories, 3 defeats. 16 big wins coming by way of knockout. The fighting pride of Alberta, Canada, here is Steve the Dragon Claggett.
Fighters come center. 10 rounds. Obey my commands. Good luck. Touch gloves now. Let's go to work.
Let's take a look at the tail of the tape, ladies and gentlemen. Brought to you by Title Boxing.
Put your lariat over your head. It's the law.
Here we take a look at the age difference, only 2 years, okay, to Chris. You see the height, that's a detriment. That's detrimental to the, I mean, reach 73, 72. I don't know if that's accurate because he can be 5'8" with 72, but then you can because there's Floyd Mayweather's like that. So I guess it's a possibility that could be true. 2
high-level boxers here in our main event. Thanks for being with us here, folks, on the CBS Sports Network in downtown Las Vegas.
JR, as we talked about Van Heerden saying, I want to dance, high work rate, lots of movement. Claggett said, I need to disrupt Van Heerden's rhythm very early in this fight with my jab. He said, my best asset as a fighter is to adapt in the ring.
Right here you have another look at Chris Van Heerden, who's a southpaw against the righty again. We've been having that all night. So pretty much you see the same thing as has to happen.
Van Heerden, a tough kid. One illustration of that point. He's one of 13 children, folks. He has 6 brothers and 6 sisters. It might have been a fight at the supper table. Who knows?
Are you fighting for a seat or fighting for a meal?
Fighting for a clean plate and a place to sit. He's also a former rugby player.
Claggett talked about Van Heerden. He said he is a very talented but very emotional fighter. Claggett said, I need to seize upon that. When he gets emotional, I need to stay calm.
Well, the key to get guys beat is emotion. You want to get a guy emotional because when they get emotional, they don't think. And so that's actually a key to success.
They say that about umpiring Major League Baseball. You want to stay unemotional in an emotional situation.
Yes, exactly. You want to show emotion, but not be emotional.
It's a learned trait, quite frankly, in many sports and walks of life, quite frankly.
Yeah, because once you get emotional, you're very beatable because you're thinking, you feel with your emotions.
Van Heerden put a lot of pressure on himself when he told us in our fighters meeting that I must win this fight. I must get back on track. There are no other options. And that was a quote from the South African who now lives in Santa Monica, California.
He also knows that he is one of the biggest boxing stars in all of South Africa. The country has a great history of boxers. He wants to be the leader of this new wave. He feels a lot of pressure coming in.
All right. Step. No, break means break. That doesn't mean hit him after you get away.
Very clear from Jay Nady.
I think Jay Nady almost thought about taking Van Heerden to the woodshed. A little verbal spanking.
Well, the one thing major here, like I said, to see how well Steve Claggett adjusts to the southpaw stance of Chris Van Heerden.
And the length, the leverage advantage of being 5'11" to 5'8", as you pointed out, Kevin.
Yeah, if that reach is exact, I don't know, because it can't happen. A guy be an inch small, an inch reach advantage. Have it, you know, it doesn't make sense though.
And it's high and tight for Steve Claggett throughout round number 1.
Very closely fought first round. I'm anxious to hear what you gentlemen have on your unofficial scorecards.
Very hard to score that round. I would like to go dead even.
Don't do it.
I hate to do it. I really do hate to do it when I got to choose. But for the first time all night, I have to go dead even.
Kevin, I'm disappointed in you,
I know.
You know, can I tell you something about 10-10 rounds? They're like unicorns. Some people believe in them. Some people think they've seen them. They don't exist.
Yeah. But, you know, the question mark is, I want to be fair, and I didn't see either man ring generalship take over the round.
So what do you have, Sean?
10-9 Steve Claggett. Very tough on his defense, but first and foremost, I'm looking at the effective punches that were landing, and I give it on a slight margin to that man on your screen, Steve Claggett.
I promise you, that may be my only round like that, so I'll have to pick for now.
We'll see if Steve Claggett can become the next hitman from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, as our second round begins here in our main event in Las Vegas, live downtown.
I'm so glad you just worked the kayfabe reference in, JR.
No problem.
As you see, now they've got momentum. The first round was just a groundbreaker. Now in the second round, I'm expecting to see some changes. I'm expecting to see Chris Van Heerden make some adjustments, Claggett make some adjustments, and we're going to see what those adjustments are.
We talked about this earlier, gentlemen. The adjustments made from round 1 to round 2, always compelling, always interesting to see what their corners have tutored and coached their men up, what they're changing, what they're doing differently.
Well, what's going on now, it seems that Van Heerden is starting to plant his feet and throw power shots to the body and to the head. But he is getting countered. But now with Claggett is going forward off a very effective jab. So that's the key here. Oh, there go the uppercut too. The uppercut's working.
Jay Nady saying, get your punches up. So doing a nice job of talking to the fighters, not breaking them, telling them to punch their way out.
Don't grab him.
Now the fight's going inside. I think that Van Heerden is giving up his size advantage and fighting on the inside, which giving Claggett more opportunity.
Claggett, a very high, tight guard. You see where his hands are.
I call it the peekaboo style. That's what they call it. You fight that style. But the thing is, you can't really counter because your hands are in front of your face.
It's a crisp right hand, though, from Steve Claggett.
Good right hand by Claggett.
JR, as we see Claggett starting slowly to try to walk down Chris Van Heerden.
Claggett said that he is a very much a straightforward and a aggressive fighter. He's not going to be hard to find. We'll see if that pays dividends before this is all said and done. Against a very accomplished, a very skilled former IBO welterweight champion.
Yeah, well, like I said, Claggett is adjusted very well here. Like I said, he's coming off a good win, while he's taking advantage of Van Heerden, who's coming off a loss. So we're just trying to make him believe that loss is where he's at right now. That's
Ironically, both these men have had their share of fights. Both have 23 wins in their careers, but neither have ever fought in Las Vegas before. The Las Vegas element, the Las Vegas factor comes into play once again here.
There's something so special about fighting in Las Vegas. Something special about commentating fighting in Las Vegas.
Definitely. I agree with that.
Van Heerden is throwing, but he's having a tough time getting through the hands, the tight defense of Steve Claggett.
As this round winds down, we'll be back, ladies and gentlemen, with more of our main event on the CBS Sports Network. And we are back, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen, here in our main event here in downtown Las Vegas. The Canadian, Steve Claggett, from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, the Dragon, taking on Chris Van Heerden, the Heat, from South Africa, now residing in Santa Monica. A little difference in addresses. Johannesburg to Santa Monica. I'll have to pick Santa Monica.
They're both gorgeous.
They're both wonderful cities.
I heard some great things about South Africa.
I've been there. I've done wrestling there back in the day.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
Don't age yourself.
I'm not. I used to date myself. That's no fun either.
Francois Botha, Kurt Shabalala.
What about Brian Mitchell?
Absolutely.
Brian Mitchell, the great Brian Mitchell. Yeah, heck of a fighter.
Corey Sanders, great tradition of boxing in South Africa.
Third round here, fellas. What do you got on your card, Kevin?
Right now, I have 20-19. I have the first round even, of course, which Chris hated that. But I have 10-9 the second round, which is 19-20. So
who do you have ahead?
I have Steve Claggett ahead.
Okay. Sean, quickly.
10-9, Steve Claggett, 2018.
Right. There you go. So you guys have been right on the money all night, so we'll see if that holds out in our main event here. Again, we try to watch closely the continued adjustments in the fight. How good are the corners?
Well, right now, as I can see this round, I think that Chris Van Heerden's corner made another adjustment. Because the last one, he came out very forward, very aggressive, and now he's back to boxing. But he's going straight back in the line. So he's getting hit straight right hand. These are basic mistakes that lefties sometimes can do.
There's a lot of redness on the face of Chris Van Heerden.
Yeah, he's going straight back in the line, too. I noticed that every time he goes back, he goes straight back in the line and get hit with straight right hand. And as you can see, that Claggett is going to throw a straight right hand, probably in a few seconds here, as Van Heerden goes back. There you go again, straight right hand. He missed, but it was effective.
Straight right hand, unencumbered by the Dragon, scoring on Van Heerden. Van Heerden longer, but the reach, as Kevin Kelly pointed out, not that much different, but a longer, taller fighter.
And the pace is really going Steve Claggett's way. Right now, he's staying real close. He's staying in his reach. He's staying in his range. He's utilizing that jab. That right hand's coming right up to the jab. Basic right-handed stuff that beat a lefty. Right hand, back to the hook, back to the jab.
Champ, you know this. As I talk about the redness on the face of Van Heerden, some fighters just mark up more than others, but the redness is by and large because of that straight right hand from Claggett.
Yeah, they call it the Antichrist of southpaws. You know, straight right hand. These are boxing basics 101. You throw a straight right hand against southpaw, you land every time, unless the southpaw steps to his right.
The end of 3 in Las Vegas. I'm glad you guys are doing your unofficial scoring because I couldn't call that one. That was a close round in my view. What do you guys got? Well, Kevin, you're the champ. What do you got?
I gave it to Steve Claggett again. I think on effective aggression. See, there's something that they talk about in boxing they don't talk about. That's what I think. It's called ring generalship. Sometimes a guy can win a round and you don't see the punch stats matching up, because who's the aggressor? Who's forcing the action?
And Sean, you have?
I agree with the champion. 10-9 for Claggett, but a very close round. By and large, beyond ring generalship, Kevin, it's also that he's landing the right hand. Beyond ring generalship, I'm looking for these clean punches to legal targets the body and the head.
Short punches on the inside, short left hands, okay? Good. Get some separation, get back on that double jab, son. Jab hook left. Look for that, look for that.
Got the eavesdrop there a little bit in the corner of Steve Claggett. The Dragon. Every Dragon I've ever seen in the squared circle has been really good. And this kid's really good.
Really good.
As we talk about the scoring, in mixed martial arts scoring, under the unified rules, it is staged. So first you're looking at effective striking / effective grappling. If you exhaust that, then you go down to damage, then you go down to cage control, which is basically ring generalship. In boxing judging, under the unified rules of the ABC, you're throwing everything together. So you can account for defense, you can account for ring generalship. First and foremost, though, just my preference in judging, I like those effective clean strikes.
Yeah, and straight right hands don't hurt, okay? He's landing straight right hands. I believe that Chris Van Heerden is staying right in front of him in a wrong place. He needs to step to his right and then spin. And he's getting hit with clean right hands every time.
Van Heerden has made a concerted effort to go to the body of Steve Claggett and has done so effectively in this round.
But he has to go forward to go to the body like he just did, but he has to go forward. To be effective, he's got to start backing up Steve Claggett. If he doesn't do that, he's done for a long time.
Wanting to watch the heads from referee Jay Nady. See Van Heerden really getting to the inside.
Referee's working hard. He's always got to be where he can see between the fighters. You don't want to be caught behind somebody's back.
Well, it's starting getting very interesting now. Now they're starting to fight. They're starting to get in the middle of the ring. It's starting to become a really good fight right now.
Good uppercut by Claggett.
Van Heerden's going to the body a little bit. He's getting a little better body shots. I don't know if that's called for what he just did.
We just saw the clowning, and Claggett talked to us about this in our fighter meeting. He said Van Heerden, when he gets emotional, he clowns, and that's because he's losing the fight.
Like I said, that's a sign of frustration.
It's like laughing in the graveyard. It's a nervous laughter.
Yeah, it's frustration.
Yes.
That's what it is.
A little nerves, a little uneasiness. You're not comfortable when you start that type thing.
He's not when Nate Brownie Point's doing that with the judges either. What I see right now is Van Heerden should swing to that right, throw a combination, and step to his right. Instead, he's stepping in front of the right hand. There he goes. Without hooking behind the head, of course.
Even with the clowning, the possible frustration, I think this is a better round for Chris Van Heerden. Starting to be more effective with his movement, landing more shots, but he ate that right hand.
He's holding his ground right now, I think. And that's the biggest primary he needs to do. Hold his ground, start backing up. And he just landed a great combination against Claggett. And that could have won the round for him.
Claggett with a nice straight right hand lead. Body punches. The Canadian fighting back. And folks, we'll be back with more of our main event on the CBS Sports Network. And we are at the halfway point of our main event here in Las Vegas. Live knockout night at the D. Chris Van Heerden, former IBO welterweight champion, taking on the Canadian, the Hitman, the Dragon, if you will. Canadian welterweight champion Steve Claggett. Very evenly fought contest. Kevin Kelly, quickly your score to date.
I have it 40-37, of course. I'm starting to see that Van Heerden is starting to actually fight his fight now. He's starting to come up a little bit better. He's setting up the left hand right now, so he might get into the fight a little bit more.
Sean?
39-37, I gave round number 4, the first round I've given to the South African Chris Van Heerden.
Close fight.
Extremely.
These two guys have been on the money all night, my partners.
Stop. It was 2 in a row. They were low. Keep them up. Box.
How do you like the audio, folks? Taking it right in the ring. I like it.
Jay Nady taking control. And thanks to the outstanding Nevada Commission assigning Jay Nady and Kenny Bayless, 2 of the best boxing referees in the business, to this card, knockout night at the D.
There's a lot of boxing eyes, ladies and gentlemen, in the state of Nevada and the city of Las Vegas here tonight. This is an exciting boxing series We're going to be bringing you the youngest, most aggressive, most promising fighters in the game right here.
Very good. I'll tell you one thing. Van Heerden is starting to get a little bit better, a little more confidence, a little bit more aggressive. He's starting to throw lots more punches right now. He's finding his rhythm. Claggett right now is falling back, I think, trying to readjust to what's going on.
Claggett got hit with a good left hand walking in. But now, he's just that straight and forward guy. He's just not, he doesn't have any other gear but go forward. There's no reverse, there's no side to side. The Dragon is a very aggressive kid.
JR, in the fighter meeting, Van Heerden was very colorful in his language. He said, I'm going to be the Matador, Claggett's going to be the Bull. We're starting to see that emerge in this fight.
I'm starting to see something that Van Heerden is doing. He throws his shots, and there's a little balance problem with him. I don't know where it's come from, the back leg. It seems like it goes forward sometimes. And as you can see, he throws a straight left hand, and he's switching once in a while. So I don't know if that's something new he's practicing or something that he's just doing for more balance. There he goes right there. There he goes. He switches righty.
Van Heerden he thinks he has an advantage over the competition that he's fought. He's also he had 97 amateur fights. By the way, with 94 victories.
Pretty good record.
Not bad.
Not experienced.
You can buy the groceries with 97 fights and 94 wins.
That was a good right hand there from Claggett.
Cut by punch.
It's a very good round, I tell you, for Van Heerden. He's landed some good shots.
Referee indicated a cut by punch to the judges as we get ready to start our 6th round. And very close fight, our main event here, folks.
That's great refereeing from Jay Nady. The reason he is saying that to the Nevada Commission table is if there is any issue and a potential stoppage. Cut by punch, very clear, very decisive from Nady.
You're winning this fight, man, but you got to stay on top of your game. You hear me? When you're on the inside,
here we take a look at some action early. You see, right here. Van Heerden does some shots. That shot looked to bother, not really much, off balance punch. They say, take a look right at the replay at Van Heerden, button with his head leading first. Very dangerous.
The Dragon's mom, Cynthia, probably not watching this fight. She does like to watch her son pugilistic exploits. But Dad Greg is a big fan. I'm sure a lot of folks in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, are watching this tonight and throughout the country of Canada. And we welcome you if you are.
Okay, go crazy.
I love that rep. Okay, go crazy. What do you got?
Well, I gave that last round to Van Heerden. I thought he's starting to find his rhythm. He's starting to find his pace. He's starting to lay right in front of Claggett and exchange with him. And he's winning the best out of it because he's throwing 3 and 4s and 5s and 6s off that jab. So I gave the fight right now is 49-47 unofficially, of course.
Champ, I agree with you on round 5. I also gave it to Van Heerden, so I have it 3 rounds to 2 going into round number 6 for Claggett.
And I wonder what the Nevada State Athletic Judge, their official cards, are saying. That's why you always worry about going to the judges' cards, fellas, as you well know. Kevin, you know better than anybody.
Yeah, I never did care for judges too much. That's why I knocked guys out. So me primarily, I just feel that if I leave it to the judges, then I'm leaving my destiny of my career to somebody else.
Yeah, that's not good.
And JR, these are very close rounds.
Yeah, you know what judges like. Some judges like you going forward. Some judges like boxing. So some judges could say, well, Van Heerden's boxing, he's sticking moving, he controlling the fight. Or they could look at Steve Claggett and say he's going forward and win the fight. So we don't know what the judges want or what they like.
We're in the 6th round of a 10-rounder in our main event here. It's exciting to be in downtown Las Vegas. If you haven't made it to downtown Vegas, folks, I can't tell you what you're missing. It's absolutely amazing. The energy, it's electric.
It seems like Van Heerden is very comfortable right now doing what he's doing. And that's what Steve Claggett don't want him to get, comfortable. Because if he gets comfortable in this rhythm that he's doing right now, which is that's a rhythm, then he could do this all night. Hit and move, hit and move, hit and move all night. And that's what he planned to do anyway.
So much better movement from Chris Van Heerden. It was a slow start. Claggett moving forward and cutting those angles, but look at Van Heerden now. He's on his bike, but he's on his bike effectively because he's throwing and landing.
Claggett's still moving forward.
Yeah, but you got to move forward aggressive. No aggressive effect. You know what I'm saying? He's got to land punches, throw punches.
Let him up. Keep your head
You know,
up.
moving forward is only one thing,
Box.
but throwing punches is another.
Look, Clackett's going to go for a double leg takedown there momentarily. Thought he had a flashback to
moving the side control.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clackett is walking into punches too right now, so that's not a good thing.
Hard body shots.
Good counter left there from Van Heerden.
Leather on flesh. Makes a very sickening thud at times.
Yeah, Van Heerden is switching righty and switching lefty. That's something I didn't see from him before, so he's doing it very well.
Nice flurry by the Dragon, Steve Claggett.
Another extremely close round.
A lot of Claggett's Canadian fans have made the trip down from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, here to Las Vegas tonight. So we are through 6, gentlemen. Kevin, I'll go to you first. What do you got?
Well, I got it scored again. Like I said, I gave Chris Van Heerden that round. I thought Chris Van Heerden boxed again, even though Claggett had one moment, but it was one moment.
And Sean, what's your tally?
Champ, that's an extremely close round. You make a compelling argument. I actually thought that was the closest round of the 6 thus far. I gave it 10-9 to Claggett. I thought he was a little more effective coming inside with his combinations, but extremely close.
Yeah, very argumentative. I mean, here you take a look at the action. I mean, Van Heerden's landing shots, Claggett's coming in, Claggett's landing shots coming in. So who's more effective on their punches? I mean, it's very, very scarce on what we're going to decide on.
Judging is so subjective, as we have tried to explain to you. You're a fighter, you're always leery of going to the judges' cards, more often than not.
Look at Jay Nady there backing up Van Heerden. Van Heerden has done that a lot, JR. He's wanted to come right to the center of the ring.
He wants to show that ring generalship, that who's leading the fight.
Control.
That's what ring generalship.
It's all about control.
Exactly.
Psychological control for the veteran Chris Van Heerden, a whopping 28 years old.
But being he fought the bigger fights, she did title fights and stuff like that. Spar Shane Mosley, Canelo, and the guys like that. He has a great deal of experience in the gym, so he's trying to utilize that in this fight.
This is the rhythm now that the Canadian Steve Claggett wants. Coming forward, it's effective aggression. It's not just aggression, but in boxing parlance, effective aggression. Effective because he's throwing and landing. And he's cutting off the angles.
Like I said, still, you know, he's got to be very smart cutting off the southpaw. So he's got the southpaw to go into his shots.
That was a good right hand from Claggett.
We're seeing better movement in this round from Van Heerden.
And JR, we're seeing a lot of swelling under the left eye of Chris Van Heerden.
Well, I think it's from previous fights. You know, there's a lot of wear and tear on his face. Look at his nose.
I
look
noticed
at his
that in
eyes.
our fighter meeting, Kevin. He did have some wear and tear on his face, and I don't mean that disrespectfully whatsoever.
Yeah, but that's what happens. You can see that he doesn't move his head too much.
Yeah.
And so I believe that Steve Claggett knew that that was going to be a case.
He's had some DNA adjusted on his face from those 26 fights.
Again, look at the clowning. Hands behind the back.
Well, that was almost a wrestling exchange, a double leg takedown, and then Claggett got to his opponent in a front chancery. Thanks for the referee stopped that.
See, Chris right now is starting to lay right there in the pocket, they call it. He's there in the pocket. If he's not throwing any punches, that's where he could be effective. He start winning the rounds over a little bit. This fight is very close. We don't know exactly what the judges want or what they're seeing. It goes back and forth. It's a roller coaster.
Don't grab him. Don't grab. Work out. Let go of
It's
his
a
head.
war nutrition right now. That's what I think we're looking at.
That was low. Keep him up.
And the warning for a low blow from Jay Nady.
Fight down, son. Fight. That's it.
Long effective punches there from Van Heerden. You see how Claggett, 5'8" to Van Heerden's 5'11". He wants to walk through those straight punches to the inside.
Good left hand by the Dragon, Steve Claggett. Nice exchange, good ring control by the South African as the, nice right hand. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back. Our main event continues on the CBS Sports Network from Las Vegas. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This round just getting started. Chris Van Heerden, Steve Claggett. Claggett in the black and red. Van Heerden in the green. The South African versus the Canadian. Too young, a 28-year-old and that's young to me. I got socks that are 28. And of course the Dragon 26. That's the great thing about this. We're outdoors. The stars are shining bright, gentlemen. Where else the hell would you rather be than downtown Las Vegas? Except if you're getting a low blow from the South African gentleman. So he may be one step away from the old woodshed, Kevin. You ever go to the woodshed in Flushing?
Never the woodshed.
No woodsheds, huh?
No woodsheds. That's country right there. For me.
Oh, yeah.
That was a firm verbal warning from Jane 80.
Very firm.
See, we got JR. I'm a Sydney boy, man.
You are. I gotta help you out. You got my back, though, right?
A woodchuck chuck and a woodchuck chuck.
Yeah. It's getting late, folks. The champ just had a flashback to the Garden or something.
Yeah, the flash.
We're in the round 8 of 10 in a main event. It's too close to call, I can tell you.
Well, JR, I think it might be getting late for Chris Van Heerden. This is a very close fight, a lot of close rounds, extremely close rounds. But Claggett is starting to find his way again to the inside as he did earlier in this fight.
So what's your score?
68-65, Steve Claggett.
And then Kevin, yours?
68-66, Steve Claggett. Every time Van Heerden switches righty, he gets hit with a straight right hand. So that's what he's got to stop doing. If you see, watch where he'll switch for a second, go righty, and he gets hit with a straight right hand, right over the top.
Van Heerden, a very religious man. I bring that up because he may need some divine intervention if he can't put some things together here, even though it's a close fight. My experts at ringside, and I'm going to bet on them, folks. Claggett is ahead, barely on the cards. And, oh, good shot. The Dragon's head straightened back.
The mouse that we talked about that formed under the left eye, Van Heerden popped late at the end of round number 7. There's a trickle of blood once more into round 8.
And his face is starting to swell. Like I said, the problem with his face is he's got a lot of old scar tissue. And when you're in a fight like this, it inflames quickly.
I noticed in a fighter meeting on Thursday, his eyes were both puffy. I thought they were puffy.
Look at those uppercuts, a triple uppercut there.
Right hand, over the top right hand by Steve Claggett.
That's that pressure of Steve Claggett on Van Heerden. The pressure, he's putting a lot of pressure on him. He's giving Chris Van Heerden no room. He's got no room.
It's a good round for Claggett.
Time!
Very cerebral fight put together thus far by Steve Claggett. Could he be the next cerebral assassin? As we take another look at some of the closing moments.
Here we take a look at this forward motion of Steve Claggett. Both men getting hit with shots. I mean, it's non-stop. Look at the uppercuts of Steve Claggett landing on the Dragon. The Dragon is wondering where the shots coming from.
The face of Van Heerden.
Van Heerden's face is starting to break up. Like I said, he has a lot of scar tissue from previous fights, and it's inflaming quickly. He don't want his eyes to close. If it's shut, his nose is bleeding.
He doesn't look like a 28-year-old right now, gentlemen. He looks older. He does. I mean,
yeah, he does.
That's a result of that Dragon's rights and lefts, most of the rights, and the collateral damage he had coming into this fight.
See the mouse that is slightly popped under the left eye, blood coming out of both nostrils.
Yeah, he's had some issues with his nose, I'm told. And man, the Dragon comes out quickly. He beat Van Heerden to the center of the ring on that exchange.
And it's Van Heerden who's tried to be first. By and large, being first in the exchanges throughout this fight has gone to Steve Claggett. Not always, but often.
This round, it seems like that Van Heerden is starting to lighten up his punching power through busy punches. He's got to be busier. He's got to be more action-packed. He's got to stop sitting back and let Steve Claggett throw punches. Claggett looks good, I tell you. I give Claggett credit, too. He's going forward. He's backing him up with the jab. Very good.
Both these men having their first fight in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, here with us tonight. We're glad that you're with us, too, wherever you are. An exciting new boxing series with the youngest, the brightest young stars. You're going to see them right here on the CBS Sports Network.
JR, when you're trained as a judge, this goes for boxing, MMA, Muay Thai, kickboxing, any combat sport, you're told don't obsess on the swelling or the blood on a fighter's face, just simply because different fighters react differently to strikes. With that being said, if you look at the damage on Steve Claggett's face, you know that punches are being, or rather on Van Heerden's face, you know that Claggett is landing punches.
There's evidence. There's DNA.
They're both getting hit, but it's like Van Heerden's getting hit a lot more than Claggett is.
Arturo Gatti obviously had the type of face that wore damage not too well. Other fighters, Kevin, you never really looked very damaged in fights. You have the type of skin, you never really swelled up that much.
Well, I try not to get hit that much, that's why. With me, I can punch and I try to keep away from getting hit over and over and over. I couldn't avoid it, Troy Dorsey. Sorry about that one, but hey, it is what it is. But scar tissue is
mouthpiece
really
out. But with all of that being said, JR and Kevin, judges are human. When you look at the face of Steve Claggett and you look at the face of Van Heerden, sometimes you're going to be swung by emotions.
Thank you. Go to that corner over there.
They're starting to think that.
Time in, box.
All right. I'm just going to eavesdrop there on the referee. Got to give the fans at home a little feel for what the officials do, and this referee, Jay Nagy's doing a good job.
He's doing a great job. I don't know if the mouthpiece was knocked out or spit out, because sometimes fighters look for breaks.
No, it was knocked out. I think Claggett landed a clean punch. Van Heerden is keeping it a little looser. Mouth is starting to come open here in round 9. I think it was knocked out, though.
And that's how you get your jaw broken. You know, the first thing to do.
We'll try to have maybe get a replay of that and see what happened exactly. But I think Sean's right. A good shot.
And it was good mouthpiece procedure from Jay Nady. He waited till a neutral portion of the fight, went back, had the corner put the mouthpiece in immediately. Stalking mode now for Steve Claggett.
It's getting near the payday round of this 10-rounder. And it's going to be interesting to see the sense of urgency. I have to believe that the South African, Chris Van Heerden, knows he's behind. You got to think, could he not know?
Yeah, he knows. He's got to put the brakes on. He's trying to figure out how to stop Steve Claggett. He's got to put the brakes on while he's moving and throw a straight left hand and keep throwing them, keep throwing left hands. Other than that, he's going to lose this fight.
Take a look at this mouthpiece controversy we're talking about, Kevin.
Yeah, here we take a look at the action. Oh, it was a light, tight, little jab that he caught him with. And I think his mouth being open, it knocked it out.
I think that's right, champ. I think it's the result of just the mouthpieces now wearing loosely because you're having your mouth open, you're trying to take in more oxygen, feed the lungs as you're deep into this fight.
It's a heavy-paced fight.
Well, we are down to the 10th and final round here tonight at our inaugural Knockout Night at the D, downtown Las Vegas. A beautiful night. Will we have a beautiful conclusion to our main event? And there's the bell. We are ready to go. Good show of sportsmanship.
I think his corner told him, Van Heerden, that you're behind on scorecards.
If they're being honest, they told it.
Yes,
right?
I got a score at 88-84. Going to Steve Claggett. I think Steve Claggett's he's ahead. 4 rounds, definitely.
And your score, Sean, is similar.
It is, 88-83. I gave Van Heerden's rounds 4 and 5, and that's it. You know, JR, I'm just awful at math. This is really testing my math skills. I'm used to MMA and 10, 10, 10, 9, 9, 9. That's about my limit.
I have a hard time adding when I don't have my socks on. I need another appendage to utilize.
I like that.
Country boy here. Man, this has been a good fight. Good, close fight, clean fight.
These are two incredibly talented fighters as well.
2 really classy guys.
This fight can actually happen again. It's a fight that people will want to see again. They will pay to see because both men's styles complement each other.
Getting the mouthpiece out.
If he keeps doing that, they will take a point from him.
Look at Jay Nady taking control, slapping the water bottle away. Great officiating. In that situation, the corner cannot give the fighter water, as you saw vividly there. They can't give instruction. All they can do is put the mouthpiece back in.
Is Claggett going to stand in front? That's the question I have right now, Kevin. Is he going to stand in front and maybe find a toxic left hand?
Well, the one thing about Claggett, I give him credit, his defense is very, very good in this fight. Very, very good. He's slipping, he's moving his head, he's going forward, he's jabbing. The heat is feeling the heat.
Yeah, on a nice cool night here in Las Vegas, it's not been a cool experience thus far for our friend from South Africa.
Don't grab his head.
Chris Van Heerden talked about this fight being his coming out party for the U.S. boxing audience. I think that can move now to Steve Claggett.
Yeah, and the other thing, Sean, he put all this pressure on himself by saying, I have to win. Nothing else will do. So you got to think that maybe he puts himself behind the 8 ball a little bit.
Yeah, you got to watch what you say. Speak things into existence. You motivate things like that. Chris Van Heerden has to take note, watch this fight, watch the tapes of it, see what he did wrong.
You got to keep your words soft and chewy because you might have to eat them.
A lot of boxing fans, unless there is a decision that I will see as being very unexpected, or if there's a late knockout scored by Chris Van Heerden, are going to be talking about the Canadian Steve Claggett after this bout as a top welterweight.
Excellent fight here in our main event. 10 seconds inside 10 in a 10-rounder. Outdoors in Las Vegas. It has been a hell of a fight.
Great fight.
Exactly, Ralph. A great fight indeed. Too close to call. My experts have Claggett winning the fight, it seems.
Good fight, son. Good fight, baby. Good fight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will come back with a decision in the main event right here in downtown Vegas on Knockout Night at the D. We are on the CBS Sports Network.
CBS Sports Spectacular Fight Night Knockout at the D on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by the D Las Vegas. Long on fun, short on ordinary. By Title Boxing, redefining what being involved in the sport really means and what innovation really stands for. And by DLVEC. Visit DLVEC.com for upcoming events.
And trying to get a shot there is the owner of the D, Derek Stevens. Certainly, the evidence on the face of Steve, Chris the Heat Van Heerden. It's going to be an interesting decision here, Sean.
JR, I have it 97-93 for Steve Claggett. I gave Van Heerden rounds 4, 5, and 10. The early 5 rounds were extremely close, but I thought Claggett ultimately won this fight with his inside game.
And now, fine fans, after 10 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards, and here are the totals. Judge Glenn Trowbridge scores it even, 95-95. Judges Robert Hoyle and Patricia Morse-Jarman both have it 97-93. Your winner by majority decision, Chris the Heat Van Heerden!
Well, that's going to cause a little bit of controversy north of the border. I'm a little bit shocked, Sean, a little bit shocked, quite frankly.
I am as well, and during the broadcast, we talked about judges should not be seduced by the damage on the face. With that being said, forget the damage. I just simply thought that Claggett was more effective landing shots on the inside. Still, take nothing away from Chris Van Heerden, a tremendous victory. Unexpected, though, for me.
Absolutely not. Great effort, 2 class guys in our first main event here in downtown Las Vegas.
Well, congratulations. Congratulations. There's going to be a lot of mixed reviews in this fight. It's very close. Did you think you had the edge in that fight?
120% yes. I knew I won this fight. I knew it's close. It was, to me, we are both winners tonight. Not just me and Claggett, we are both winners. We put up a war and we entertained the crowd. Come on, guys, it's not easy being here. We delivered, no matter what.
When can I see the next one? Do the crowd want to see it again? So how soon can we see the next one?
Whenever.
Exactly.
Before I go on with the interview, I just need to thank Jesus Christ. I have went through so much, and the Lord has blessed me tonight with a victory because I've put in the work, and He blessed me and Claggett with His hand of protection, and that is the main thing tonight. Me and Claggett both live for another fight, only because we are blessed by the hands of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, baby. And to answer your question, a rematch, I'm moving forward. I've beaten Claggett. If it comes down the line, we had to fight again, we fight again. But hey, I move on. I don't want to move back. I got to move on. So I want to go on to something bigger now.
Let's look forward to the rematch. Give them both a hand. Back to JR.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Great fight, 2 class acts. Congratulations to Chris the Heat Van Heerden, and certainly a great deal of respect goes to Steve the Dragon Claggett. Certainly was a phenomenal effort by both men tonight. I am almost speechless, but we had a great night, folks. The first night here on the CBS Sports Network. We had some hellacious fights tonight with some hungry young kids, Sean.
JR, there's no doubt. We saw current champions, we saw future champions, and we saw top prospects. A top prospect is Malik Hawkins, recording a 6th-round TKO win over Errol Sidney Jr.
The Rooster, baby.
Now 7-0.
Come on, the Rooster. Get with it, the Rooster.
There is the Rooster. Nico Macias started boxing at age 20, now 24 years old and 12-0. A unanimous decision win over Lindbergh Ponce.
And ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank all of you for being with us. We had a great time here in Las Vegas. Downtown is special, the D is special, and you're special for being with us. For Kevin Kelly, Sean Wheelock, I'm good old JR, Jim Ross saying good night, everybody, from downtown Las Vegas, Nevada.